The second book of the Torah is called in English Exodus, and indeed it speaks about the exodus of the Jewish people from Egypt. But in Hebrew, it is called Shmot, and Shmot means names. And it begins with a list of the names of the Jewish people who came down to the land of Egypt from the land of Canaan. And our sages point out in the Midrash that one of the merits that the Jewish people had that allowed Hashem to rescue them, because they'd pretty much assimilated into Egyptian culture. But one of the merits is that Shelo Shinu et Shmotam. They didn't change their names. When they came down to the land of Egypt, their name was Yehuda, and when they left the land of Egypt, their name was Yehuda. They kept their Jewish names. Now the sages point out that in ancient times, names were created. We see this with Rachel and Leah when they named their children. They created new names. They had a certain degree of Ruach HaKodesh, of a type of prophecy. And they would name the child based on the incidents, based on the events of the child's life. So, for example, when Leah had her fourth son, and she felt that she had got more than she deserved because there were 4 wives of Jacob, 12 tribes, so that's 3 children each, 3 sons each. Now she had a 4th son. So she said, Hapa'am odet Hashem. Now I will praise Hashem. I will acknowledge Hashem. That's the word Yehuda comes from, to acknowledge. She made up a new name. So the sages say in the old days they could do that. They had a special connection with Hashem. We can't do that. So how do we name our children? We name our children after our ancestors, after our grandparents, after holy people who have passed away, great rabbis, great rebbitzins who have passed away, relatives. Or we name them based on something that's happening that week, the Parsha. Maybe in the Parsha it speaks about Moshe, so we'll name our son Moshe. Maybe it speaks about Rivka, so we'll name our daughter Rivka or Sarah, whatever it is, or in the Haftorah. Maybe it's the festival of Purim, so we'll name our child Mordechai or Esther. Maybe it's Chanukah, so we'll name our child Yehuda after Yehuda HaMaccabi. But the main thing is that we give our children Jewish names. Now, it's something strange about the Jewish people. We go around the globe and we become a little bit embarrassed about our Jewish background. So we give our children names that are not really Jewish names. We call them Ryan and Warren and Lauren, whatever it may be. These are lovely names. And sometimes we give them a Jewish name, but that Jewish name is just used at school or on documents. What's wrong with being proud of our Jewish names? In the same way that the Jews were in Egypt. For 210 years they were being persecuted, but they kept to their Jewish names. And if you look around today, we live in a world of multiculturalism. The Muslims give their children Islamic names, Yishmael and Muhammad and Fatima, and they're very proud of those names. And so it is in other cultures, the Japanese, the Chinese. Sometimes they change their names when they go into showbiz. But we live in a world today that is far more tolerant of cultures. So let's use our Jewish names. Introduce yourself by your Jewish name. You're not just Ryan, you're Reuven. I'm Reuven. I'm not just Lauren, I'm Sarah. Yes, this is my Jewish name. This is my essence. And so it is that the second book of the Torah reminds us of our heritage. Eile Shmot B'nai Yisrael. These are the names of the children of Israel. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.